Take a look at these various animals. What are they doing? It's a hot summer day. They're bundled up, hiding in the shade. Why is that? Let's take a look at some more animals right here. So here we have the peacock. Which one's the male and which one's the female? And how do you know? Why would having these decorative feathers help animals survive? Well, that question is actually what we're going to be answering today because our objective is we're going to summarize adaptive animal behaviors, aka behaviors that animals have inherited or evolved to do in order to help them survive. So, the three types of behaviors we are going to look at, they can be categorized into three different types. The first one is going to be called innate, and these are going to be the behaviors that animals are born with. Next, we have these behaviors called learned, and from the name, these are going to be behaviors that we learn from experience. And lastly, we have social behaviors, which are behaviors that organisms learn when interacting with members of the same species. So let's just dive right into the first category, innate. Again, innate behaviors are those that you are born with. You don't have to learn it, this is just something you're born with. For example, you, as a mammal, and other mammals, will do this behavior called suckling, which is going to be suckling for milk. So the next type of behavior is called taxis, and all taxis is response to something from the outside. And so in this case, when you move towards the stimulus, it's going to be a positive response. You want to move towards it. But moving away, that's going to be a negative response. Here we have something called phototaxis, much like in photosynthesis requires light. So phototaxis means movement to light. You're going to learn that euglena, a certain type of unicellular organism, is going to have a positive phototaxis. Think about if it's positive, is it moving away or is it moving toward? And if it's phototaxis, what is it moving to? And then the other type of movement is going to be called chemotaxis, which just refers to the movement towards chemicals. Now, the next type of innate behaviors, so this one here is something that birds and fish both do. It's going to be called migration. And this is just when organisms move to breed for the different seasons or whether or not there's going to be food available. And then the last two right here, the 4 and 5, are going to deal with behaviors that can help to save or conserve energy. So let's take a look at this one right here. The one in the winter, when animals usually go slow down their metabolism, they hide. You know this is called hibernation. But what you might not know is something that happens in the summer called the summer sleep. So think about the pictures that we looked at earlier. Why were those animals sleeping during the summer? Well, they're doing this behavior called estivation, and estivation refers to the summer sleep, so animals will avoid overheating or drying up. And these animals include crabs, tortoises, salamanders, crocodiles, and even snails. So let's take a look at the next set, which are learned behaviors. And again, learned behaviors are those that are going to result from experience. Think about a baby that's entertained by an electric fan. So he puts his finger into the fan, and next thing you know, suddenly he experiences pain. Will that baby do that again in the future? Probably not, unless he wants to experience pain. So the first type of learned behavior we're going to take a look at is this thing called habituation. And this is the simplest form of learning. An animal learns to stop responding to a stimulus if it doesn't harm or reward him. So if a rat is exposed to a radio sound the first time, it may be scared, but if it listened to it every single day, then it will notice that it's not dangerous and it's going to ignore that sound. Think about the first minute, the 1 minute bell when you first moved to Garinger. Did you know what that meant? You were probably confused, but later on you realized that that meant that you only have 1 minute to get to class, and then you weren't as confused. You made it a habit to get to class on time. Let's take a look at the next set of behaviors. The first one is going to be called imprinting, which is just basically how you know who your parents are. This is going to be rapid learning that occurs during a specific age, and if animals have a parent there, and even though it's not going to be the one who birthed them, if they think that that's the parent, that's who they're going to follow. And another type of learned behavior is called trial and error. This is one that we may all be aware of. It's just we repeat behaviors that give us rewards. We avoid those that give us punishment. I think about the circus animals, think about dogs, for example, think about your pets. How do you get them to do the right thing? You give them treats. What do you do if they are acting up? You punish them. Trial and error. One thing that you may not have seen before is this thing called conditioning. And this is just when an animal learns to associate a stimulus, so something, a signal that usually doesn't come with a reward, but now it's going to, now the animal is going to think that it's going to come with a reward or a punishment. So let's take a look at this. This is a classic example with dogs. So the first one, dogs normally salivate, so they have saliva when they see food. But when they hear a bell, dogs are like, that's not food, so it doesn't mean anything. They don't have no response. But when you condition a dog, in this case, here, we gave it food and it also heard the ringing of the bell. So after the dog has been conditioned, every time that you ring the bell, ding 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 ding, it's going to think that there's going to be food, and so the dog starts to salivate. Classical conditioning. The animal is going to learn to associate a signal, in this case the bell, with a reward, which is going to be the food. And also do this with a punishment. And last but not least, let's explore social behaviors. Social, think about society. These are behaviors that organisms interact with members of the same species that they learn. Social behavior is also going to improve our evolutionary fitness. So, when dealing with members of the same species, we release these chemicals called pheromones that trigger natural responses. So humans release pheromones and other organisms release pheromones, and the type of pheromones can signal whether this is going to be an act of aggression, if you're alarmed, for sex, for territory, or for information. So bees and ants, humans, primates, we all do this. We all release this chemical, and this could be one way that we communicate with one another. One way that we have also learned social behavior is called courtship dances. Not prom, it can be prom, but in most cases you'll see this with birds and other organisms where they send out sounds or visual displays or chemicals to attract a member of the opposite sex. You see this bird right here doing a courtship dance to attract the female bird. And another way that organisms interact with other organisms of the same species is that they are going to defend their territory. So an organism is going to protect their territory from invading members. This generally involves protecting resources. You want to protect food, you want to protect your mate, you want to protect a space. And so in this case, animals are going to show aggression. They're going to fight to the death to defend their territory. So today, you took a look at three categories of animal behaviors: innate, stuff that you're born with; learned, things that you experience; and social, experiences that you have with members of the same species. All of these behaviors are present today because they've helped organisms to survive, thrive, and reproduce. So, what are your next steps? Once you've finished, you can go ahead and complete your independent practice, which must be checked off by me. And then after that, you can go on and work on your next video or your Mastery Connect. Thank you guys.